Am I the asshole for getting mad when my dad insulted me for buying my girlfriend pads? I, 17 male, was talking to my dad on the phone and I was talking to him about a new game I saw in Walmart and briefly mentioned that I went there to get my girlfriend pads. I thought nothing of it and had no problem with it, but he stopped me to ask why I would do that. I got confused and he told me that it's strange and creepy to other women to see a guy in the feminine hygiene section. I told him that she had asked me to and that I'm pretty sure plenty of other guys do it, too. After that he said a real man wouldn't do that, and I got pretty frustrated with him. This is what makes me think I may be the asshole. I told him that if he was too weak to go and buy pads he has no right to decide who a man is or isn't, and I called him an asshole for saying that to me. I was just trying to be a good boyfriend, but I don't know if it comes off as creepy and I don't think I should have escalated it like that. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Women don't care. No one cares except your dad and he's being weird. Not the asshole, and you are correct that a real man wouldn't be bothered at all. Lots of men buy pads for the women in their lives, as they could be too busy, too young, or in too much pain to go to the store themselves. This reminds me of a story about an Indian man who took it upon himself to revolutionize access to sanitary pads for women in rural parts of the country. For taking an interest in a women's issue, he was disowned by his family and community. His methods were definitely eccentric, but in the end, he provided much-needed supplies to thousands of women and helped reduce the stigma around the topic. I think that's a real man. Your dad would be horrified. Not the asshole. Congratulations, at 17 you're now more mature than your father. Not the asshole. Your father was trying to push toxic ideas about masculinity onto you. Good on you for being secure enough in your masculinity not to fall prey to that kind of silly thinking and for clapping back. Not the asshole. That's how a real man should handle it. My husband's has had to get me products more than once and likely will need to again in the future. There's nothing more masculine than helping your partner during their time of need. Been menstruating over 20 years now and know a guy in the same aisle isn't creepy. It's actually a little cute cause y'all trying to be good men but looking so lost. And usually pads are in the same aisle as condoms and other sexual health items which are for all genders. But you do need to be understanding of your pops. Toxic masculinity was ingrained in him since birth. Not the asshole. Your dad has toxic masculinity. No one cares. Not the asshole. My boyfriend has bought my pads for years, my other BFs had, and before that, my dad. My dad used to say that as long as he's buying us pads, that means he's not buying diapers, and he'd rather buy the pads. A lot of older men have this antiquated view on masculinity. But honestly, being secure and doing something nice for someone while being able to stick up for yourself and those you care about is the non-toxic variety many miss out on. You're not the asshole, my dude. My fiancé buys me feminine products because he's not so fragile that a tampon scares him into a case of the wibbles. You're not the asshole. It is not creepy to see men, albeit often slightly confused men, in the sanitary products aisle. If anyone's thinking anything, it's along the lines of fair play to him. He's a keeper, your dad's an ass. Charitably, I'll call him of a different time. Please inform him that a real man is not afraid of a small piece of cotton and his balls will not drop off if he touches a packet of Always. You don't have to tell him that last bit. Edit. I gave a brief synopsis of your dad's views to said fiancé and his response was FC UK off tears of joy. Definitely not the asshole. You were doing something very nice for your girlfriend. I'm a woman, and when I see a guy in that section I see him as just another person. We know guys aren't buying them for themselves. We just appreciate the effort. Not the asshole. When a woman sees a man in the sanitary products aisle she doesn't think, oh my gosh, a pervert getting his rocks off to wads of cotton. She thinks, he must be getting products for someone. That's it. Not the asshole. It's 2021 for crying out loud. You're getting a product your girlfriend needs. It doesn't matter what the product is, she needed it, you got it. Not the asshole. Your dad's an idiot. No one cares about what other people buy at a store, and everyone knows 50% of the population also gets periods. Not the asshole. I don't know if it comes off as creepy. Not at all. Guys buying period products for their partners is perfectly normal. And your dad's insistence that buying sanitary products means you're not a real man is a prime example of toxic masculinity. How sad that his 17-year-old son is more mature than he is. Not the asshole. I told my nephews that if they're not mature enough to be seen buying tampons, pads for their girlfriends, they are not mature enough to be having sex anyway. Luckily, they're all good eggs, they don't have a problem buying feminine hygiene, or condoms. They were raised right. Not the arsehole. You summed it up well when you roasted him back. Not the arsehole. It's not creepy. It's no different than buying toilet paper, which everyone uses and for far more disgusting reasons than catching blood. Your dad has old outdated views. Besides, does this mean he never bought some for your mom? If you'd been born with a uterus he wouldn't have gotten you some. You might get married one day. You might have daughters one day. Do you want to be a good husband, father, or do you want to go, "Well, sorry ladies, I'm a real man and real men don't help out the women in their lives"? It never comes off as creepy. Women can tell the difference between a guy standing there undressing people with his eyes, and someone frantically trying to remember if it was overnight with wings. If Kotex was the brand she absolutely hates and will make you have to go back a second time if you get it by accident. I have been buying my wife pads for 18 years now, since we were dating. Never once has anyone given me a second glance unless it was an approving nod for not being a total sexist knob, since I'm currently buying these things without making a big deal out of it. I'm not the one bleeding for 5-9 days, or longer. Periods can be wonky as fuck. The least I can do is run to a store and buy something in a pink package. Edit. Not the arsehole. Your dad is a tool. Not the arsehole. There is no issue with a guy going to buy pads or tampons for his friend or partner in need. It just shows that he was good towards a person. No shame in being good. You're a teenager, so I understand why you said those things to your father, but I hope you are mature and speak your mind without lashing out. Not the arsehole. Loads of men get sanitary products for women. Doesn't matter if they are a relative, partner, friend, etc. It's a normal thing to see. It doesn't determine anything about you other than someone needs them. Not the arsehole. Your dad isn't a woman and doesn't get to decide what's creepy for women. A man picking up period products for his significant other is not creepy. It's also not emasculating. Your dad is old-fashioned and not in a good way, so good for you for standing up to that. Not the arsehole. Certainly not creepy. Your father is misinformed there. While your comments may have been harsh, you just gave as good as you got. And if your father is playing the real man card, he can certainly deal with the comeback. Not the arsehole. If his masculinity is so fragile that a package of pads can break it, there wasn't much of it to begin with. Not the arsehole. I've even seen a man in the feminine hygiene aisle and thought it was creepy or strange. I actually had a friend walk by and seen there, and he stopped to chat for a few minutes. Neither of us seemed bothered by it. He needs to get over it. Not the arsehole at all. I've picked up those for my wife any number of times. The only people who get squidgy about it are insecure men. Not the arsehole. You were being a good partner. That's what a man should strive to be. Your dad has a childish view of what a man does to be manly. Fuck him. Not literally. Keep on doing good for your partner and for yourself. My parents almost did, but I told them I was comfortable with myself as a man, and so I didn't care what other people thought of me buying pads. It's not like they were for me anyways. Not the arsehole. You're being a great boyfriend. Your dad? Not so much. Absolutely not the arsehole. As a woman, I was barely comfortable buying my own sanitary products at 17. You'll make a wonderful husband to be so considerate and open to it. I have more respect for my stepdad because he can quite comfortably buy those things for me, so you'll make a good dad to a little girl one day too. Rightly so. You called him an arsehole. Victory hand. Medium light skin tone. It's sad that you, a minor, has to show an adult what a real man is. Kudos for getting your girlfriend pads. It's not creepy or strange. If more guys did this, it wouldn't look so taboo. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. A real man has no problem buying pads or tampons for the menstruating people in his life, and you are definitely a real man. And while I can't speak for most women, I only care about a man in that aisle if he's standing in front of what I need. All I can say is somebody raised you right, because it obviously wasn't your dad. Not the arsehole. If he feels awkward or squeamish about buying pads, it just shows his immaturity. And that's sad. Not the arsehole. Ask your dad if the girly cooties you get from tampon boxes have any long-lasting health indicators. Because he's reacting like a pre-adolescent boy who's never met a real-life girl in person. Some people reactions to normal female functions are a weird mix of poor education and folktales superstition. Not the arsehole. We need so many more good people like you. Your dad is being toxic as heck. You are a good boyfriend and man. Thank you. Not the arsehole. 2 reasons. 1. There are men who menstruate, and 2. Nobody gives a flying fuck who is in what aisle as long as they're masked up and giving us space. Not the arsehole. Thoughts and prayers go out to all the women in your dad's life. Not the arsehole. My wife asks me to do this all the time. Sometimes I'll even take pictures of the different brands and text them to her to make sure I'm getting the right ones. Nobody bats an eye. In fact, dudes in the feminine hygiene aisle getting stuff for their ladies is a step in the right direction towards normalizing a bodily function that for some reason people get so squeamish about. Your dad is a dick for saying this somehow impacts your manliness. Surprise, it doesn't, and making a big deal out of nothing. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. I mean, what century is your dad still living in? It's 2021 for science sake. No woman thinks this is creepy. Any woman who sees a man in that aisle knows that he's making the trip to spare some cramping, fatigued, bleeding woman the journey. Not the arsehole. At all. I'm a 39-year woman, and my husband always does the grocery shopping. He knows what brand of tampons and pads I use, and gets them when I put them on the grocery list. I'd never find it strange and creepy to see a man in the feminine hygiene aisle. I can assure you that there are literally millions of women who would applaud the fact that you, at only 17 years old, are not so incredibly sheltered as to be afraid of the dreaded feminine hygiene aisle. Major kudos to you, young man. Not the arsehole. Your dad is wrong. Most women either don't give a damn about a man being in that aisle or think it's great that he is doing this for his partner, mom, sister, whatever. There's nothing unmanly about ensuring that your partner's basic needs are being met, and I have always wondered why straight guys like this don't understand that very few people care what they are buying and why they don't respond to any flack about with, well, sorry you're not man enough to look out for a woman. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. Congratulations on being more of a man than your dad. By the way, it is not creepy. I usually find it amusing to see them all confused trying to get their GF's preferred brand, type tears of joy. And another thing, pads are made in factories. Which, to this day, are still a very male-dominated environment. Not the arsehole. There's nothing wrong with buying sanitary products for your GF. She asked you and you obliged like a mature partner. Your dad's idea of masculinity is outdated, so outdated. Not the arsehole. It's not creepy, it is being a good boyfriend or just a good person in general. Don't listen to your dad and his archaic views of gender roles. Keep doing what you're doing. Not the arsehole. I think it's wonderful you're willing to help your significant other out. Way to go. Just ignore his outdated thinking. Not the arsehole. Funny story. Back in the day when the pharmacy was locally owned, my dad went in and got my mom some pads. About 2 hours later he goes back to get my sister some tampons. The pharmacists say, "Oh man, your wife and your girlfriend. Old family friend, it was absolutely a joke." Dude. Fart? Not the arsehole. When I was younger and obviously could not drive myself, I went to the store with my parents. Dad always walked down the feminine hygiene aisle with me, and if I needed to get products from a higher shelf that mom couldn't reach, Dad got them for me. If I was sick and couldn't go myself, and even if mom wasn't going with him, Dad got the exact products I needed. If he didn't know for sure or couldn't find them, he asked a worker. All Dad asks is that the girls of the house do not blatantly discuss that part of our lives at the dinner table, which is completely understandable and respectable. My friend that is a boy walks down those aisles with me no problem. Trust me, you are a saint. NTA men buy pads. It's not weird. I've never side-eyed a man in the feminine hygiene aisle.